Monterey is a great city along the California coast that sits on the Monterey Bay and is home to many fun activities. The city was the capital of Alta California under Spain and Mexico, and it is steeped in literary history with John Steinbeck's Cannery Row taking place there. Plus, it's home to a world-renowned aquarium that brings people from all over to visit. While this is by no means a full list of things to do in Monterey, and it expands to some of the surrounding areas as well, it includes many of my favorite things to do in the city. Let me know what your favorite place is in Monterey in the comments, and let's jump into it. First up, we got Cannery Row. Cannery Row is the main tourist area of Monterey and has shops, restaurants, and history for you to experience. The area was once home to sardine canning factories, which was big business in Monterey in the mid-1900s, and it still has the preserved laboratory, which was the inspiration for one of the main characters in Cannery Row. There's also some nice sandy beaches to relax at, and the whole area is very walkable. The main tourist destination in Cannery Row is our next recommendation, though, the Monterey Bay Aquarium. The Monterey Bay Aquarium is often voted The Monterey Bay Aquarium is often voted one of the best aquariums in the world. It opened in 1984 and it was the first to ever have a living kelp forest on exhibit. The aquarium uses its spot on the bay to showcase many of the local marine life, and is one of those places that you can easily spend a day exploring. The aquarium is often busy though, as it's one of the area's most popular attractions and it sees over 2 million annual visitors. It's easy to see why, as there are dozens of massive tanks and lots of events like feedings happening throughout the day. It can be a little expensive for the whole family, but it's hard to think of a better aquarium that you can visit than this one. My next recommendation is Old Fisherman's Wharf. Old Fisherman's Wharf is the original pier that was used for commercial fishing operations when it opened in 1870 to the 1960s. Now it's a tourist area that's a home base for many of the bay's boat tours and has lots of stores and restaurants. It's fun to walk along this historic wharf and get views of the bay, plus it has the Old Fisherman's Grotto, which is an awesome spot for lunch or dinner. Old Fisherman's Grotto is often named one of the best clam chowders in Monterey, and it's been here since 1950. I've had the chowder many times and I can confirm that it's really great. Next up we have Monterey State Historic Park. While at Fisherman's Wharf, also take some time to walk around Monterey State Historic Park. This park has 17 buildings and includes many significant historic structures like California's first theater and the Customs House, which is California's oldest public building. You can grab a map and walk along the street to see all of the buildings, many of which are only open during specific times of the week if you want to look inside. It's a great stop for those that are interested in both the area's history and California's state history. Next up we have the Monterey Moon Tree in Colton Hall. While technically a part of Monterey State Historic Park, I wanted to specifically call out this building and the moon tree that sits in the surrounding park. Colton Hall is where the California Constitution was written, and it's now a museum that you can explore. In the park that surrounds it, be sure to check out the moon tree. This coastal redwood was grown from a seed that was carried to space. Sure, it just looks like a normal tree, but how many other trees have you seen that have been to space? It's worth a quick stop. My next recommendation is the Lower Presidio area. The Presidio is still an active U.S. Army base located in downtown Monterey. While you can't visit the base, the Lower Presidio area is home to a small museum and a beautiful park with amazing views out towards the water. Be sure to walk to Sloat's monument for the best views. Plus, the monument is interesting as it was dedicated to Commodore Sloat, a commander in the Navy who claimed California for the United States. There's another small park in the lower area where you can see a statue of Father Junipero Serra looking out over the bay. Overall, it's a nice spot. For a walk and some beautiful views. Next up, if you're traveling with a family, go to Dennis the Menace Park. Dennis the Menace Park is one of the best children play areas you'll find in California. This park was created over 50 years ago with the help of Hank Ketchman, who created the popular comic. The play area has a full train engine right when you walk in and a famous tiger fountain that has been in many photos over the years. The playground has slides, a maze, tunnels, and other spots for kids to explore. If you're traveling with a family to Monterey, then you do not want to miss it. The next few recommendations leave the downtown area to visit a couple fun spots in the surrounding region. First up is 17 Mile Drive. 17 Mile Drive is a paid scenic drive that takes you to the famous Pebble Beach golf course and along the stunning coastline. Grab a map as the drive has many different numbers that refer to specific areas and that tell you more about what you're exploring. When the drive's going along the coast, it's pretty stunning and it's a fun half-day event adventure stopping at many of the viewpoints and just soaking it all in. The Lone Cypress is an especially fun spot for photographers with a cypress tree that's growing out of the rocks and standing out by itself. Do note that this drive does cost, but it is a fun way to spend a half day in the Monterey area. Next up, visit Point Lobos State Natural Reserve. Point Lobos sits basically at the entrance to the Big Sur coastline, and it's one of the best state parks in California. While the park itself is not that big, it features miles of coastal trails with stunning views. There are often sea lions and seals on the rocks and beaches below many of the trails, and there's lots of history in the area from the whalers who once lived along the coast here. If you like hiking, then you must visit Point Lobos while in Monterey, and I have a full video on it in the description. My next recommendation is the Monarch Grove Sanctuary. In the neighboring city of Pacific Grove, you'll find a preserved forest that provides a sanctuary for monarch butterflies. The butterflies normally visit the area from November to February, and if you happen to be there when they are, then you should stop by. It can be hard to see them if they're further back in the sanctuary, but it's crazy to see the clumps of hundreds of butterflies all hanging together from some of the trees. Plus, you'll often see many floating around above you as well. It's a special event if you happen to be there when the butterflies are there in the Monterey area. Before ending this video, I wanted to share 2 food spots I love in Monterey. First up, Lulu's Griddle in the Middle is a delicious breakfast spot on Municipal Wharf 2. This tiny restaurant has been serving up their famous hubcap griddle cake for years, which is a pancake so big that it overflows the plate. It was featured on diners, drive-ins, and dives, and I always stop by for breakfast if I'm in the area. I think they have lunch here too, but I've never been, so let me know in the comments if you have. Plus, it has great views out over the water. My last recommendation is...
During those pauses, I was talking. Okay, so I grew up here from 5th and 6th grade for sure, like 1990 something and something. I ain't gonna give it away, but yeah, I lived here for a period of time in my life, man. My mom moved here, and I went to visit, and I was like, man, I want to stay. And I stayed with her. We stayed on the top of the hill of Broadway. And it was beautiful. My older sister was here, CC. She went to high school here for a couple of years of her life. I think at least 9th grade. And this shit was dope. Like, I used to ride my skates all the way down Broadway to the beach. I went to the Boys and Girls Club here. I went to Manzanita Middle and some other middle school. I don't remember the name of it. But this was a dope spot. This was the era of BDs, Black and Mouse, Swishers, Chocolate Phillies, who used to smoke? I ain't seen one. The Garcia Vegas. You ain't never smoked the Garcia Vega blunt? You just cut from a different cloth. Then we used to smoke some shit called a Chocolate Philly. It was chocolate and black. Man, that motherfucker hit different. Then we graduated to some shit called a Titan. There's a blunt called a Titan. It was like this big, about that round. And we put like a whole eighth in that motherfucker. Before backwoods, before all shit, we had some other shit going on y'all don't know nothing about. Then they had some shit called a beanie. You hit that motherfucker, give us a head rush crazy. It was my early days, like fifth grade, 10 years old, first time smoking, all the shit. Like story time through all the shit, bro. The fights, just like middle school. I remember it vividly. A lot of it I remember vividly. The shit that stand out. So much would happen every other day that I couldn't just like. It's so much that I gotta remember. I gotta sit back and remember and just like, okay, let me tell you about this day that happened. But we about to get the story time. I was muted, but I was talking about certain points. So them beaches and shit, man, I've been in all of that shit as a kid, going to all that shit. Sometimes by myself as an older brother with my little brother. You know, mom's giving niggas some chip. I was the type of kid at like 8 years old. She trusts me to go up the block to the 7-Eleven and bring her back a slushie and whatever sandwich she wanted and all that type of shit, and bring her change back and all that type of shit. So I had special privileges as a kid because she knew I was like intelligent. So she's sending me across main streets at 8, 9, and 10 years old to go handle business. And we're gonna get into all that. Like moms, man. Shout out moms, man. For real, for real. But living here was dope for me. I loved it. We had a nice apartment up there on the top of Broadway, up that way. There was some type of base up there too. So it was dope. But that's part of my story time. I'm gonna let this video keep going, and I'll give y'all a little more later.
It's Revival Ice Cream, one of my favorite ice cream places in California. This spot makes small batch ice cream with local ingredients and has even won some awards for its unique flavors. If you've never been, you must order the Bee's Knees. It's local honey, beeswax, and honeycomb candy. I never order anything else here anymore because it's so good. So there you have it, my favorite places in Monterey. Let me know what I left off in the comments, and we will see you on the next video.
So that was super duper dope. That was story time. Story time about me living in Monterey with moms, and that whole situation was super dope. Going to the beach all the time, all the experiences. I did remember my allergies getting real bad at one point, bro. And I was sick as fuck out there for like a month. And that was like my downtime. And a lot. It's a lot. I could go on and on, bro, about them times. But we're gonna save that for episode 2. This is the News You Can Use podcast. I'm your host, the Most Big Surf God, and I'm out. Peace, love, and prosperity.